Good morning, this is Tommy Lackey with Power Investing and Relativity Capital Advisor. It is Wednesday, September 29th, 2021, and today we're going to go a little different route and we're going to take a look at how we can find emerging trends with the power investing process by drilling down through the sectors into find emerging trends in subsectors. Now, I want to do this because of all the rotation we started to see over the last few days to weeks. And kind of yesterday, having such a rough day, there was a lot of shifts in what's going on behind the scenes or underneath the hood of the markets. So we're going to start with our universe, and we're going to look at the equal weight sector rankings. We can see energy's still on top, but I want to highlight a little bit the industrials today because while still down for the last quarter, I like the idea that it's moved up 27 points over the last 5 trading days in relative strength on the 3-month rankings, and you can see here that it also is still in the 80s, so it looks like it still has some room to move if it wants to. But we're not going to concentrate just on the sector. We're going to move on down to the subsectors, and as you can see, if we rank these by the RS movers, we come down here and we see industrial goods, which is fine in the 50s. But a couple down, today I'm going to highlight the aerospace and defense, which is down in the 40s. Coming up from 16, but just a quarter ago it had a relative strength of 67. So we can see it's made a dip and it looks like it might be starting to emerge back out. So if we go to that sector page, we can take a look and we can see the first thing we want to look at here is this RSI chart. And if we look at this RSI chart here, you can see that the top pane, which is our relative strength rankings, 3, 6, and 12 month are all turned up and moving up above that 40 level. Again, not a high score, but one that does seem to be emerging. At the same time that we see the actual price starting to move through this downtrend. Okay, now if we zoom in and take a look, which you can, and in these charts you can even go up here and expand it to the whole window. But if I do that, it's going to be much bigger than the screen I have here that I'm showing. So as we look here, it's coming back to test that line yesterday on the pullback and the MA bands. It could even flag here a little bit, but any move back over this and maybe even over these recent highs, I think is a good look. And again, zooming back out, which is why we like these charts to be active, you can see that that level, maybe about 1024 on this particular equal weighted index, is a good level that held as resistance for quite a while. We broke above it and then now we've come back down it. So that's a good polarity level that we need to look at. If it gets back over, it could give us a strong move. We do also want to note that there are 2 major divergences coming off of these recent lower lows. And now we've seen the CFG thrust back over the 100 level. Now RSI has not move back into a bull range as it's in an RSI bear range now. So we do want to watch for that and see that improvement before we get too heavily involved. Moving down to the next chart, which is the breadth chart, we can see that the percent above the moving averages, 20 days 58%, 50 day is 39%, and 200 day is 49%. Are not really high numbers, but again, as an emerging trend, that's kind of what we're looking for. The summation index is turning up from an intermediate standpoint. And the same thing here as we go down and look at the bottom is these divergences in price and these shorter term breadth indicators give us an idea that there's some strength under the hood there that we can potentially work with. Now our relative comparative charts are turning up across the board as well. At the same time, we're seeing this potential trend line break, and you'll also see in the percent making new highs and new lows, we see some divergence here as those are making lower or smaller numbers as price continues to make a lower low. So as we spike back up here, we've seen a good run up here to 50, which is often involved with a new leg, and we're seeing the higher levels starting to improve as well. So now we move down into the actual holdings. You can go to the ETF side. There are definitely some ETFs here that you could work with from a defense standpoint. That would be on the industrials page and under the ETF rankings. But here I've also already sorted this to look at, okay, which stocks inside here are moving. SPR, ERJ, ATRO, TGI. And just taking a look at a few of these charts, you can see ERJ is in a situation to where it is come up off of after the big drop, retraced most of that area on a weekly basis, and on a daily basis it's gapped up recently and it's trying to kind of flag out of it. Now yesterday was a tough day for a lot of people, but both of these are in RSI bull ranges, and so if we can see some strength emerge back in here, again we want to take a look. Also we have ATRO up here in this mover, and this one, as you can see on the daily, has pulled back a good bit more. The weekly, you can see it pulled back right into where this previous daily breakout was, and a little congestion area. And now we're seeing the daily move in, not in a bull range yet, so we're a little bit early, but something we can pay attention to. And then we can go on down even to names we know a little better, or actually one I want to look at is I don't even know how to pronounce that. HWM, and as you can see here again on the daily, it's come down and across. It's still in a bear range, but it's held 40 here now twice, and now up here. And then the weekly held its bull range during this. So again, if we can get a move back over these highs, maybe around 33.40-ish, it might be something that's worth taking a look. 33.50-ish might be something that's worth taking a look at. I think the space is something we want to keep an eye on. Everybody likes to talk about Boeing, but there's a lot of other companies that are smaller, maybe a little more agile, that are worth looking at. As you can see here, Boeing not in a bull range yet, but has held that 40 area for a while, and the weekly has pulled back in a bull range. We also have Lockheed Martin as one of our larger players as well. Again, much larger pullback. Come back into some support, but there's really not a lot other than these recent weekly lows to press against on this particular chart, and it seems to be lagging in both a bear range on the weekly and a bear range here. So again, don't think that's where I'd be focusing. I'd continue to go down through this list and see which charts strike me as the ones that seem to have the most opportunity. Again, that's powerinvesting.com. You go to the Aerospace and Defense URL, or go to that link, and you can go through all these yourself. All right, hope this helps. Gives you an idea of kind of how I look for stuff that's emerging. Let's keep an eye on it and see if it can produce. Thanks, and hope everybody has a great trading day. Good luck out there.